I'm Michaela from KLRA Vinyls, and in a previous video I showed you how to use a stencil as a stamping plate, so it's probably time I did a tutorial on how to use the stencils actually on your nails. So I'm going to show you how to use vinyl stencils 3 ways with conventional polish. One way will be with the bottle brush, just that one, a makeup brush, and a nail art brush. Each one works best with a different stencil design, but I'll explain more of that later. So first things first, you need to start with a completely dry nail. And I mean completely dry. If you can still put a dent in the polish, it's not dry enough. I usually use vinyls on second day manicures or on gel manicures, just to be safe. I have here the Moroccan Lantern No. 2 stencils and the Rose stencils, which I will link below. Now normally these are made with clear vinyl, but that's not very good for demonstration purposes, so I made these using black vinyls so it's easier for you guys to see. Today I'm demonstrating on a 4-day-old manicure, but you don't have to wait that long. You can also use these techniques over a gel manicure. To start, I'm going to show you the most basic method, the one you probably already know, and that's just to use the bottle brush. This is the most commonly used method and generally the simplest because you don't need any extra supplies or tool and cleanup is easy. I'm going to use the Moroccan stencils to demonstrate. This method works really well on simple designs without a lot of small details, and it's really simple to do. So first, make sure your nails are clean and there's no dirt or oils left behind. Peel the stencil off the backing carefully. If there's any negative spaces left, like here, just lightly press the stencil to the back of the stencils, and those negative spaces should be left stuck to it. Okay, so position the stencil over your nail. I generally find this easier to do with the clear, but whatever. And press it firmly to your nail, making sure you get all the sides and that there are no bumps or bubbles or folds in the vinyl, because polish can seep under those and leave uneven lines. Okay, so once that's done, choose a polish that doesn't need multiple coats and just sweep it over the design. Like I said, 1 coaters worked best for this. I find the best strategy is to sort of work a little bit at a time. It's okay to reload your brush, but don't dawdle. You don't want all the polish to start getting tacky on the nail. Once you're done, carefully and immediately remove your stencil. You don't want the stencil to start drying while it's still on the nail, because you could get little strings of polish that land back on your nails, and that's not a cute look. So, there you go. So, the benefits of this method is it's fast, there's minimal, if any, cuticle cleanup, and it's really simple. The cons is that it doesn't work so well with stencils with small lines or a lot of details, and if you use too much polish, it will pool and leave strings or flood into the negative spaces, and it just ruins the look. And you can really only use 1 color of polish per nail using this. So next up is the makeup sponge method, which is my preferred method. This one is a little more complicated, sort of, not really, but it's messier because you need some extra tools, namely the makeup sponge, but it works really well on stenciled ones, or sorry, on detailed stencils or ones with little cuts like the Rose stencil. So again, I'm going to press the stencil onto my nail. Get all those negative spaces out. This isn't so much a problem with the clear vinyl, but I do find it happens with this particular vinyl. Okay, so you could jump right into applying the polish, but to save yourself a lot of cleanup, use a cuticle guard or liquid latex. I'm going to use the cuticle guards. Okay. So put some polish on your makeup sponge. And apply to you now. The great thing about this method is you can actually put on a few layers of polish. So keep building until you get the opacity that you want. And then just take off the stencil. Okay, so the pros. You can use a less opaque polish with this one. It's easier to get an even coat of color across your whole nail. And you can combine it with a gradient or an ombre by using a few different colors on the sponge. And you can take your time removing the stencil because there isn't a buildup of the polish base that's going to flood or leave strings. You can also use an overcoat like a glitter polish or a matte top coat on the stencil. After you're done putting on the color, just peel the stencil off right away like you would the real method. Wait a second and then put on that overcoat. Now for the cons, it's a little more time consuming than the brush bottle method, and really just a little bit more time consuming, barely any. It can get messy if you don't use some kind of cuticle barrier. And you have to have the makeup sponges, which not everybody has on hand all the time. But if you do, this is my favorite method and will usually give you the best results on any design you choose. Okay, so next we're going back to the Moroccan stencil for this. For this one you need a small nail art brush or a dotting tool. So you need to use the detail brush to basically just paint in the little sections of the stencil. The key is to not flood each section. So I'm going to use the dotting tool. Bring in a second color. So you want to try and not get the vinyl or get the polish on the vinyl, because that could leave you with some like strings or little flooded areas, because this is a more time consuming process and the polish will start to get tacky before you finish. Okay, so that's enough, you get the point. So there you go. So pros for this method is you can get a lot of different colors on the nail for some really cool effects. You can even opt to skip sections if you want, like I did. You can use acrylic paint instead of polish, or you can use a combination of polish and acrylic. You know, use polish in some sections and acrylic in others. The cons: it's time consuming, it can be hard to do on your non-dominant hand, and it can be a little more unpredictable. So for all the methods, wait for your polish to dry for a few minutes before you apply your favorite non-smudging top coat. If you're using the sponge method, you don't need to wait more than a minute, like this is already dry. anyway, so just put your top coat and you're done. I'm all done here. If you have any other methods for using nail vinyls, let me know. I love to hear them. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye!